The crisis began not with a bang, not with any dramatic warning, but with the faintest of signals, barely perceptible to anyone except those who knew where to look. It started as whispers from deep beneath the Pacific, subtle tremors echoing through the darkness, hinting at something stirring far below the waves. For weeks before January 26, USGS seismologists tracked a strange, persistent pattern, microquakes flickering along a known offshore fault, each one a tiny clue in a growing mystery. Unlike California's usual tremors, these quakes migrated methodically, almost as if the fault itself was being unzipped, one careful stitch at a time. Inside the USGS, tension mounted with every new data point. Was this harmless stress release, or a warning of something much bigger and more dangerous? The fault segment had been locked for centuries, storing immense strain beneath the surface. Now, the microquakes hinted at a breaking point, a threshold that might soon be crossed. For millions along the coast, life went on as usual, surfing, shipping, daily routines, completely unaware of the silent signals pulsing offshore, hidden from everyday view. The warning signs were invisible, existing only as lines of data on scientists' screens, a language only a few could read. Some experts argued such seismic swarms had happened before without disaster, pointing to history as a source of comfort. Others saw classic signs of imminent rupture, warning that the past was no guarantee of the future. The models offered probabilities, not certainty, numbers and graphs that could not predict the exact moment, only the growing risk. The scientific debate was intense, but the public remained oblivious, their lives untouched by the invisible drama unfolding beneath their feet. The Earth was sending a message, but only a handful could hear it. Those trained to listen for the planet's subtle warnings, despite all our technology and expertise, were still students of the planet's power, listening for whispers before the roar, hoping to understand before it's too late. The countdown had begun, silent and unseen, as the world above carried on, unaware of the deep unrest below. Suddenly, the locked fault beneath the Pacific gave way, releasing centuries of pent-up tension in a single, violent instant. Deep below the waves, the Earth's crust wrenched apart, sending shockwaves through the ocean. The rupture tore along the fault for hundreds of kilometers, releasing energy equal to thousands of nuclear bombs. The ocean floor shuddered as the fault line snapped, and the force unleashed was almost unimaginable. Initial readings showed a magnitude 7.0, but the numbers quickly climbed past 8.0, the big one, offshore. Alarms blared in monitoring centers as scientists realized the true scale of the disaster. This wasn't just plates grinding, the seafloor heaved vertically, thrusting water upward and birthing massive tsunami. The ocean itself seemed to rise as if breathing in before unleashing its fury. The wave raced toward California's coast at jetliner speed, unstoppable and growing taller with every passing mile. Moments later, the land shook, first a gentle roll, then violent chaos. Windows rattled, and the ground seemed to ripple beneath people's feet. In cities from San Diego to San Francisco, ground liquefied, buildings swayed, bridges groaned. The entire region was caught in the grip of nature's raw power. The quake's long, rolling motion was especially destructive to tall structures and bridges, leaving highways twisted and skyscrapers trembling. Power lines snapped, gas mains ruptured, water pipes burst, modern infrastructure buckled under the strain. Streets flooded and fires sparked in neighborhoods across the state. The earthquake triggered a chain reaction: fires, floods, blackouts. Emergency sirens wailed as first responders rushed into action. But the real terror was just beginning. The tsunami was on its way, a wall of water threatening everything in its path. The rupture offshore had set in motion not just a wave of water, but a wave of cascading disasters. Each event fed into the next, compounding the devastation. California's resilience was about to be tested as never before. Communities braced for impact, knowing the worst was yet to come. The countdown to catastrophe was over. Now, survival would depend on courage, quick thinking, and the strength of the human spirit. As seismic waves spread, the USGS issued a red alert, the highest level of warning. This wasn't just about magnitude, it was a data-driven forecast of catastrophic impact. Emergency managers knew this was a generational crisis, demanding a massive, coordinated response. Hospitals activated mass casualty plans, fire departments braced for fires and collapses, and infrastructure operators scrambled to prevent cascading failures. Ports shut down, power grids isolated damaged sections, and hazardous materials were secured. The red alert signaled that California's economic and logistical heart was under direct threat. Simultaneously, NOAA prepared tsunami warnings, using USGS data to model the coming wave. The message was clear. The shaking was just the beginning. A tsunami was imminent. Immediate, drastic action was required at every level. Before the strongest shaking hit, technology offered a brief window, a fleeting chance to act before disaster struck. Shake Alert detected the first seismic waves, triggering alerts to millions. Cell phones buzzed, loudspeakers blared, and screens flashed urgent warnings across the region. People had only seconds, just enough to drop, cover, and hold on as they'd practiced in countless drills, hoping it would be enough. Trains braked to a halt, elevators stopped between floors, and industrial systems powered down, all in a synchronized effort to prevent catastrophe. These precious seconds saved lives, but not everyone received the warning. Digital divides and gaps in coverage left some unprotected and unaware. Public education made the difference. Those who'd practiced emergency procedures responded instantly, while others hesitated, frozen by uncertainty. As the violent shaking peaked, attention shifted to a new threat: the looming tsunami. Emergency broadcasts interrupted every channel and device. Tsunami expected. Evacuate to higher ground immediately. The message repeated everywhere. Coastal communities had only minutes to move. An urgent race against time began as families and neighbors rushed to safety. Evacuation routes clogged, sirens wailed, and the fate of thousands hung in the balance as panic and hope collided. The earthquake warning had passed. Now the tsunami countdown began. Every second mattered more than ever. The true test was just beginning, and the next few moments would decide the fate of an entire coastline. With red alerts and tsunami sirens blaring, California's emergency response surged into action. The State Operations Center became the command hub, executing long-rehearsed plans. Priorities: evacuate the coast, reinforce hospitals, close vulnerable roads and bridges. Police, firefighters, and National Guard directed a chaotic exodus. All lanes led inland. Engineers rushed to inspect and close at-risk bridges and tunnels. Hospitals in flood zones faced impossible choices: evacuate or shelter in place. Special teams shut down refineries and chemical plants to prevent environmental disaster. Communication networks strained, evacuation routes jammed, and first responders worked knowing their own families were at risk. The scale was unprecedented, a high-stakes ballet of logistics and courage. The next hours would decide how many lives could be saved. The disaster exposed California's deep inequalities. The highest risk fell on low-lying, unstable coastal communities, often home to lower-income families and immigrants. Older homes, not built to modern codes, suffered catastrophic damage. Evacuation was easier for those with cars and resources. The elderly, disabled, and carless faced daunting odds. Public transit was overwhelmed, leaving many stranded and reliant on overstretched government aid. Economic impacts hit hardest on renters and small businesses, many without insurance or savings. Local economies and social fabrics unraveled, pushing vulnerable communities deeper into poverty. The psychological toll was greatest on those with the fewest resources. For undocumented immigrants, fear of seeking help added another layer of crisis. The red alert revealed, while the ground shakes for all, not everyone stands on equal footing. The earthquake and tsunami triggered a cascading crisis. California's ports, vital to national trade, were crippled, halting the flow of goods and causing shortages nationwide. Environmental damage was severe. Wetlands scoured, saltwater poisoning fresh water, and toxic spills from damaged refineries fouled the coast. Cleanup would be monumental. Some losses were irreversible. Daily life collapsed. Bridges down, highways severed, power out, and communication networks failing. Water treatment plants offline raised the risk of disease. Emergency shelters became crowded and hazardous. The trauma and uncertainty fueled a mental health crisis. The disaster revealed how fragile and interconnected modern society is. One failure triggered a domino effect, impacting every aspect of life. Recovery would be long and difficult. Amid chaos, science found opportunity. Thousands of instruments captured the most detailed seismic and tsunami data in history. This data will reshape our understanding of earthquakes, improve building codes, and refine tsunami models. The event forced a re-evaluation of risk, reminding Californians that offshore faults and tsunamis are real threats. It spurred urgent calls for better warning systems, public education, and stricter coastal building standards. The crisis became a harsh but powerful teacher. The lessons won't undo the devastation, but they offer a roadmap for a safer future. We can't stop the ground from shaking or the ocean from rising, but with knowledge, preparation, and equity, we can better withstand nature's fury. The story of 2026 is a call to action for generations to come.